Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe for more educational English videos like this one. The illusion of productivity in the modern world. In contemporary society, the concept of productivity has become almost synonymous with personal worth. People are frequently encouraged to optimize every minute of their day, to track their habits meticulously, and to constantly strive for self-improvement. While this mindset may seem beneficial on the surface, it raises an important question. Are we truly becoming more productive, or are we simply becoming better at appearing productive? To begin with, it is essential to distinguish between being busy and being productive. Many individuals spend their days switching rapidly between tasks, responding to emails, attending meetings, and managing various responsibilities. However, this constant activity does not necessarily translate into meaningful progress. In fact, research suggests that multitasking can significantly reduce efficiency, as the brain requires time to refocus each time attention shifts. Moreover, the rise of digital tools has created an environment where productivity is constantly measured and displayed. Applications that track screen time, task completion, and daily goals can be helpful, but they also contribute to a culture of surveillance, one in which individuals feel pressured to justify how they spend every moment. This often leads to a paradox. The more we attempt to measure productivity, the less genuinely productive we may become. Another crucial aspect to consider is the psychological impact of this productivity-driven culture. Many people experience what is commonly referred to as burnout, a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress. Burnout not only reduces performance, but also diminishes creativity and motivation. Ironically, the relentless pursuit of productivity can ultimately undermine the very outcomes it seeks to achieve. Furthermore, societal expectations play a significant role in shaping our perception of productivity. In many cultures, rest is often viewed as laziness, and taking breaks may be associated with a lack of ambition. However, scientific studies indicate that rest is not merely beneficial, but essential for cognitive function. During periods of rest, the brain processes information, consolidates memories, and generates new ideas. Therefore, incorporating rest into our routines should not be seen as a weakness, but rather as a strategic decision. In addition, it is worth examining how productivity is defined. Traditionally, productivity has been associated with tangible outputs, such as completed tasks, measurable results, or financial gain. However, this narrow definition fails to account for activities that contribute to long-term well-being, such as building relationships, reflecting on personal goals, or engaging in creative pursuits. These activities may not yield immediate results, but they are fundamental to a balanced and fulfilling life. Ultimately, redefining productivity requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing solely on quantity, individuals should consider the quality and significance of their actions. This involves prioritizing tasks that align with personal values and long-term objectives, rather than simply reacting to external demands. In conclusion, while productivity remains an important aspect of modern life, it is crucial to approach it with a critical mindset. By recognizing the limitations of current productivity models and embracing a more holistic understanding, individuals can achieve not only greater efficiency but also a deeper sense of satisfaction and purpose.
The subtle power of uncertainty in decision-making. In an era defined by rapid technological advancements and an overwhelming abundance of information, uncertainty is often perceived as an obstacle, something to be minimized, controlled, or eliminated altogether. Governments invest heavily in predictive models, corporations rely on data analytics to forecast trends, and individuals seek certainty in everything from career choices to personal relationships. However, this widespread aversion to uncertainty may, paradoxically, limit our capacity for sound decision-making. To understand this paradox, it is necessary to examine the role uncertainty plays in cognitive processes. Human beings are not inherently designed to operate in perfectly predictable environments. On the contrary, our cognitive architecture has evolved to navigate ambiguity. When faced with uncertain situations, the brain engages in complex evaluative processes, weighing probabilities, imagining scenarios, and considering alternative outcomes. This mental flexibility is not a flaw. Rather, it is a fundamental strength. Despite this, modern systems often attempt to eliminate uncertainty entirely. For instance, algorithmic decision-making has become increasingly prevalent in areas such as finance, healthcare, and even criminal justice. While these systems can process vast amounts of data with remarkable speed, they are not immune to limitations. Algorithms are, by definition, constrained by the data they are trained on, and they often struggle to account for rare or unprecedented events. As a result, an over-reliance on such systems can create a false sense of certainty, one that may prove dangerously misleading. Moreover, the human desire for certainty is deeply rooted in psychological comfort. Uncertainty can evoke anxiety, as it forces individuals to confront the possibility of unfavorable outcomes. Consequently, people often resort to cognitive shortcuts, such as confirmation bias. In order to reduce this discomfort, they selectively interpret information in ways that reinforce their existing beliefs, thereby creating an illusion of certainty where none truly exists. Interestingly, research in behavioral economics suggests that embracing uncertainty can lead to more rational decision-making. When individuals acknowledge the limits of their knowledge, they are more likely to remain open to new information and adjust their perspectives accordingly. This intellectual humility fosters adaptability, a crucial trait in an unpredictable world. In addition, uncertainty plays a vital role in creativity and innovation. Many groundbreaking discoveries have emerged not from certainty, but from questioning established assumptions and exploring the unknown. When outcomes are uncertain, individuals are more inclined to experiment, take risks, and think beyond conventional frameworks. In this sense, uncertainty acts as a catalyst for progress. However, it is important to distinguish between constructive and paralyzing uncertainty. While a certain degree of ambiguity can stimulate critical thinking and innovation, excessive uncertainty may lead to indecision and inaction. The challenge, therefore, lies in achieving a balance, recognizing uncertainty without becoming overwhelmed by it. Another dimension worth considering is the social aspect of uncertainty. In group settings, individuals often look to others for cues on how to interpret ambiguous situations. This can lead to phenomena such as groupthink, where the desire for consensus overrides critical evaluation. Ironically, the collective pursuit of certainty can suppress diverse perspectives, ultimately resulting in poorer decisions. Furthermore, the cultural context in which individuals operate significantly influences their tolerance for uncertainty. Some cultures emphasize stability, predictability, and risk avoidance, while others encourage experimentation and adaptability. These cultural differences shape not only individual behavior, but also organizational practices and societal norms. Ultimately, rethinking our relationship with uncertainty requires a shift in mindset. Rather than viewing uncertainty as a threat, it should be seen as an inherent and valuable aspect of decision-making. By developing the ability to navigate ambiguity, individuals can make more informed, flexible, and resilient choices. In conclusion, uncertainty is not merely an obstacle to be overcome, but a powerful force that shapes how we think, decide, and innovate. In a world where change is the only constant, the ability to embrace uncertainty may, in fact, be one of the most important skills we can cultivate.
Memory, identity, and the fragility of human perception. Memory is often regarded as a reliable archive of past experiences, a mental repository that allows individuals to construct a coherent sense of self over time. We tend to assume that our memories function as accurate recordings, preserving events as they originally occurred. However, a growing body of research in cognitive science challenges this assumption, suggesting that memory is far more dynamic, reconstructive, and ultimately fragile than we might expect. To begin with, it is important to understand that memory is not a passive process. Rather than retrieving fixed information from a mental database, the brain actively reconstructs memories each time they are recalled. This reconstruction process is influenced by a variety of factors, including current emotions, contextual cues, and prior knowledge. As a result, memories are not static. They evolve over time, often becoming distorted in subtle yet significant ways. One of the most striking demonstrations of this phenomenon can be observed in eyewitness testimony. In legal contexts, eyewitness accounts are frequently treated as compelling evidence. However, psychological studies have consistently shown that such accounts are highly susceptible to error. Even minor changes in the way a question is phrased can alter an individual's recollection of an event. This raises serious concerns about the reliability of memory in situations where accuracy is of paramount importance. Furthermore, memory is deeply intertwined with identity. The narratives we construct about our past experiences play a crucial role in shaping how we perceive ourselves. If our memories are subject to distortion, then our sense of identity may also be more fluid than we realize. In other words, who we believe we are is, to some extent, a product of continuously evolving stories rather than fixed truths. Another key factor influencing memory is emotion. Emotional experiences tend to be remembered more vividly than neutral ones, yet this does not necessarily mean they are more accurate. In fact, strong emotions can both enhance and distort memory. For example, during highly stressful situations, the brain prioritizes certain details while neglecting others. This selective encoding can lead to incomplete or biased recollections. In addition, the role of external influences cannot be overlooked. Social interactions, media exposure, and cultural narratives all contribute to the way memories are formed and reshaped. When individuals discuss past events with others, they may unconsciously adopt details from those conversations into their own memories. Over time, it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish between what was personally experienced and what was suggested or inferred. Interestingly, this malleability of memory is not necessarily a disadvantage. From an evolutionary perspective, a flexible memory system may offer significant benefits. By allowing individuals to reinterpret past experiences, the brain can adapt to new circumstances and extract meaningful lessons. In this sense, memory is less about preserving the past and more about serving the present and future. However, this adaptability comes at a cost. The same mechanisms that enable flexibility also make memory vulnerable to manipulation. In extreme cases, individuals can develop false memories, recollections of events that never actually occurred. These false memories can feel just as real and convincing as genuine ones, further blurring the line between reality and perception. Moreover, technological advancements are beginning to interact with human memory in unprecedented ways. The widespread use of digital devices has externalized many aspects of memory, from storing photographs to recording personal experiences. While this can enhance our ability to document the past, it may also alter how we engage with our own memories. Some researchers argue that relying too heavily on external storage can weaken our internal memory processes. Another emerging area of interest is the potential for memory modification. Advances in neuroscience have raised the possibility of altering or even erasing specific memories. While such technologies could have therapeutic applications, particularly in treating trauma, they also raise profound ethical questions. If memories can be selectively modified, what does this mean for personal identity and authenticity? Ultimately, the study of memory reveals a complex and nuanced picture of human cognition. Rather than functioning as a precise recording device, memory operates as a dynamic and interpretive system, shaped by both internal and external influences. This challenges our intuitive understanding of truth and highlights the limitations of our perception. In conclusion, memory is not merely a reflection of the past, but an active process that shapes our present and future. Its fragility should not be seen solely as a weakness, but as an inherent feature of a system designed for adaptability. By recognizing the limitations of memory, we can develop a more critical and reflective approach to our own experiences and beliefs.
The changing nature of attention in the digital age. In recent decades, the concept of attention has undergone a profound transformation, largely as a result of rapid technological advancement. Once considered a stable cognitive resource, attention is now increasingly fragmented, continuously redirected by digital stimuli, and shaped by environments designed to capture and retain it. This shift has prompted researchers, educators, and policymakers to reconsider not only how attention functions, but also what it means for individuals and societies in the long term. Traditionally, attention was understood as a finite mental capacity that could be directed toward a specific task for a sustained period of time. Deep concentration was not only valued, but often necessary for intellectual and creative work. However, with the rise of smartphones, social media platforms, and constant connectivity, the conditions required for sustained attention have become significantly more difficult to maintain. Notifications, messages, and algorithmically curated content compete relentlessly for cognitive engagement, creating what some scholars describe as an attention economy. Within this attention economy, human focus is treated as a scarce and valuable commodity. Technology companies invest substantial resources in designing systems that maximize user engagement. Features such as infinite scrolling, personalized recommendations, and intermittent rewards are not accidental. They are carefully engineered to exploit psychological mechanisms related to curiosity, anticipation, and reward. As a result, individuals may find themselves spending far more time on digital platforms than they originally intended. One of the most significant consequences of this shift is the decline of deep work, the ability to focus intensely on cognitively demanding tasks without distraction. Deep work is essential for activities such as problem solving, critical analysis, and creative thinking. Yet, in an environment characterized by constant interruptions, maintaining such focus requires considerable effort. Over time, the brain may adapt to this fragmented mode of attention, making it increasingly difficult to engage in sustained concentration. Moreover, the impact of digital environments on attention extends beyond productivity. It also influences how individuals process information and form opinions. When attention is divided across multiple streams of content, there is less opportunity for reflection and critical evaluation. Information is often consumed quickly and superficially, leading to a preference for simplified narratives over nuanced understanding. This has significant implications for public discourse, particularly in areas such as politics and science. Another important dimension to consider is the relationship between attention and well-being. Constant exposure to digital stimuli can create a sense of cognitive overload, where the brain is continuously processing information without sufficient time for rest. This can lead to mental fatigue, reduced emotional regulation, and increased stress levels. In some cases, individuals may experience difficulty disengaging from digital environments, even when they recognize the negative impact on their well-being. At the same time, it would be overly simplistic to portray technology as purely detrimental. Digital tools have also expanded access to information, facilitated communication, and enabled new forms of creativity. The challenge lies not in rejecting technology altogether, but in developing strategies to use it more intentionally. This requires a conscious effort to reclaim control over one's attention. One approach involves creating structured periods of focused work, during which distractions are minimized or eliminated. Another strategy is to cultivate awareness of how digital platforms influence behavior, allowing individuals to make more informed choices about their usage patterns. Additionally, practices such as mindfulness and deliberate rest can help restore cognitive balance and improve the ability to concentrate. From a broader perspective, addressing the challenges of the attention economy may also require systemic changes. This could include rethinking how digital platforms are designed, implementing regulations that prioritize user well-being, or promoting educational initiatives that teach attention management skills from an early age. Such efforts would acknowledge that attention is not merely a personal responsibility, but also a collective concern. Ultimately, the changing nature of attention reflects a deeper tension between human cognitive limitations and the demands of a technologically driven world. While the tools we have created offer unprecedented opportunities, they also challenge our ability to use them effectively. Navigating this tension will require both individual awareness and collective action. In conclusion, attention is no longer just a passive mental process. It has become a contested space shaped by powerful technological and economic forces. Understanding how attention works and how it is being influenced is essential for maintaining not only productivity, but also autonomy, well-being, and the capacity for meaningful thought in the digital age.